iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto, get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. We're going to take a look at the NFL and the playoff games, and there's some very big news that just came out of the NFL. I have it for you right here. Very big news. What I'm hearing right now, what I'm seeing right now on ESPN 4 minutes ago. Titans and the head coach Mike Mularkey mutually agreed to part ways this morning. Wow, this is big news after they just said, that he was going to get a contract extension. So we'll see what happens here. That is some very, very big news. The Titans offered him a contract extension, but they're saying right now that he has agreed to part ways this morning. So let's begin with that game. The Titans and Patriots. I'm willing to believe that Marcus Mariota was injured. I'm willing to believe that he's been injured for most of the season. I know that Greg Arias, the guy who covers the Titans, who we're very close to with Scout, said that Mariota's been injured. We've had other guys come on and say Mariota's not been himself. But this team just has no offensive identity at all. They have no offensive identity at all except run the football and figure it out. You're not going to beat the Patriots at this level when you run an offense like that. So they got out to a 7-0 lead, and then it's 21-7 at halftime. The Patriots are not the Chiefs, right? They're not the Chiefs. So very big news here for the Titans, and I think it's the best thing for the Titans. They need a new offensive identity. They need a new coach. They need a new person in there. I don't know who they're going to hire, but hopefully they hire a visionary. John Robinson's a very clever guy. I'm sure he'll find a guy who can help Tennessee out and give them the punch they need. They've got weapons. Henry, Murray, Decker, Davis, Walker, Matthews, Tywan Taylor, Jonnu Smith. They've got pieces. Now let's just get you good offense in there. Okay? For New England, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I mean, they're such a good team. 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is the guy that he's the greatest of all time. Deion Lewis does enough, plays well. 9 catches, 79 yards, 62 yards rushing. Danny Amendola with 11 receptions. Gronk with a touchdown. But where is Brandon Cooks? Where is Brandon Cooks? I think he needs to play better. He needs to do something because next week is a very tough matchup, and we'll get to that in just a few seconds. We'll get to that because I think it's got some really, really big implications here. If Brandon Cooks doesn't play well, I don't know whether they can make the Super Bowl. James White came back, scored a touchdown. He looked good. He had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. He's going to be a difference maker. Look for White, look for Lewis, look for Amendola, look for Gronk. I mean, look, the New England had 8 sacks. They played well on defense. They played well on offense. But the truth is, the Titans are not a very good team. So let's understand that for what they are. The Titans are a very mediocre team, and I'm glad to see Mularkey go. I think he was a bad coach, bad fit for this team, and I think they'll be a lot better off with a new regime. Now, Jacksonville against Pittsburgh. What a game. Jacksonville shows aggressive play calling. That touchdown pass to Tommy Bohannon may be one of the best I've ever seen. That was a great play call. I could have caught that pass and scored a touchdown. Seriously. All right? TJ Yeldon, I thought, played well. None of their other receivers did anything. None of the other receivers did anything. But they made enough plays to do well. They ran the football beautifully. 35 carries, 164 yards. Fournette was out of his mind. And they do enough defensively to win. This is a Super Bowl defense if I've ever seen one. This is a Super Bowl defense. The Giants, the Ravens, the Bears, the Jaguars are right there. This is a fantastic defense. This is a Super Bowl winning defense. So as we talk about this game coming up here, Jalen Ramsey is going to cover Brandon Cooks. Boye is going to cover Chris Hogan. So I think this is going to be on James White and Dion Lewis to make a play. And Amendola. And Gronk, of course. But I do think the receivers are going to be negated this week. Jacksonville looked tremendous. Pittsburgh was playing from behind the whole game long. 21-0. And then there was some spot, 21-0, then they had to come back. And then it was 28-7 until Martavis Bryant caught that huge touchdown pass at the end of the quarter, at the end of the half. I mean, there's no, if he doesn't catch that ball, this game is over at halftime. And then it seemed like every time Pittsburgh came back, Jacksonville did something great. Pittsburgh came back, Jacksonville did something great. So, I mean, Jacksonville let up a lot of big plays. And I give Ben Roethlisberger a lot of credit for 469 yards and 5 touchdowns, but I think those numbers are inflated. They were never in position to win this game. I mean, did you ever think if you were watching this game the Steelers were going to win? I didn't think so. I think what we saw here was the absence of Ryan Shazier. That was so enormous to this team. He is so fast, and I don't think... You know, we look past these linebackers who make a lot of tackles. Ryan Shazier is the fastest guy on defense for the Steelers, and he's in on every play. Without him, they were lost. I'll tell you this straight up. New England would have crushed Pittsburgh. New England would have crushed Pittsburgh. I don't know if they crushed Jacksonville. I think that's a very close game, but they would have crushed Pittsburgh because Tom Brady would have scored every single time. I'm convinced of that. I don't think the Steelers could have stopped them. I think the only team that could stop the New England Patriots are the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Patriots beat the Vikings. I think they beat the Eagles. The only team that can beat the Patriots are the Jacksonville Jaguars. I feel very strongly about that. Because I don't think Foles or Keenum can handle the New England Patriots defense. I don't think Bortles can either, but the Jacksonville Jaguar defense is that good. They are that good. Vikings defense is good. Eagles defense is good. But the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is great. Okay, in the NFC, just very quickly, Atlanta and Philadelphia. I think a lot of people thought Atlanta was going to win. I actually didn't. I think that going in on the Eagles was a great move for people. And it made a lot of sense. So to go contrarian, people were like, oh, Atlanta, 6th seed, going into Philadelphia, they're going to win this one. It doesn't always work out that way in the NFL. Philadelphia has a very, very, very good defense. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They're always in his face, and they've got a very good run defense. Coleman had some good carries here. Devonta Freeman was injured. I think that's my biggest takeaway. I have 2 big takeaways for Atlanta. 1, Devonta Freeman was injured. You didn't see him healthy for a long time. 2, look at their box scores this season. Where was Taylor Gabriel? Where was the tight end? All last year, Gabriel was such an impact. This year, he did virtually nothing. Virtually nothing. What did we see him do? Seriously, on the season, 33 receptions, 378 yards, and a touchdown. That's right. That's terrible. Last year, he was making a big impact. Shows you the difference of an offensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan, really great. Now he's in San Francisco. San Francisco looked good. Atlanta just didn't hire the right guy. But Philadelphia, I think, is in a position to do well this week. They've got a good running game. Ajayi and Blunt, Clement. They've got decent receivers, Ertz and Smith and Jeffrey. They're dealing with Foles, who's a backup, but so is Case Keenum. But I think this is going to be about the defense. This is going to be a 15-10 type of game. Whoever wins this game, nobody's scoring in the 20s between Philadelphia and Minnesota. Very low scoring game. But can Foles do just enough to win? I think this game is going to come down to Torrey Smith, Nelson Aguilar. It's not going to be Jeffrey. He's going to be covered by Xavier Rhodes. Zach Ertz is not going to have a good game against Kendricks and Anthony Barr. Not going to happen. It's going to have to come from another receiver. Will it be a Torrey Smith? Will it be a Nelson Aguilar? That's how it's going to have to be. Right? That's the only way the Eagles can win this game. And now finally, the granddaddy of them all. The big one. The biggest game that we could possibly think of here. The Vikings and Saints. So 17-0 at halftime. Minnesota looks great. Drew Brees can't do anything. And then they come back. And then they come back. And then Breeze looks great. And then they're just firing on all cylinders. And Michael Thomas plays well. And Teddy Ginn Jr. plays well. And Alvin Kamara plays well. And all of a sudden, with a field goal, they're up 24-23. Unreal. Except 3rd and 1 with about, 50 seconds to go? If they just throw the ball there, they get the first down. And why throw the ball there? Because Drew Brees had been very hot. There was no reason not to throw the ball there. A quick out to somebody, right? You get that first down, and you keep the ball. And more importantly, you're kicking with the game on the line. By missing that third down play and going to 4th down, you kick the field goal too early, and you give the Vikings time. Once the Vikings had time, Kai Forbath in a dome, this guy's got a shot. 60 yards is not out of the question, right? 60 yards is not out of the question. Minnesota gets the ball, they get a penalty, then they make a big play, right? Thielen makes a big play, and then the big play to Stephon Diggs. I'm speechless. First of all, I say this. I'm sure there was no fix, but man, it looked like a fix play. How do you duck your head and not look at the receiver? You can't ever take your eyes off the ball. All Marcus Williams has to do is tackle Diggs inbounds. Let him catch the ball. Tackle him inbounds. Game over. Let him catch the ball. Let him get out of bounds. They kick a field goal. But what you can't do is not make a play and let him score a touchdown. Unreal. In all my years of watching football, I can't ever imagine that kind of play. It makes no sense to me. Unbelievable. Speechless. So let me say this. The Vikings played well enough to win this game. Drew Brees was great in the second half. He wasn't in the first. The Vikings played a great first half, not a great second half, but good enough to win at the end. The Vikings are a very competent team. Are they great? No. Are they good? Yes. They're not a great team, though. No offense to Minnesota Viking fans. It's just not a great team. It's a good team. It's a solid team. It's not a great team. But sometimes you need luck. Sometimes you need luck. Could the Vikings go into Philadelphia and win that game next week? Absolutely. Then they go to play the Super Bowl in Minnesota. Can they win that game at home? Absolutely. So sometimes you need a little luck on your path to success. Sometimes somebody has to open the door for you, and Marcus Williams opened the door for the Minnesota Vikings, and they ran right through it. So there you have it. There you have it. And they win. Unreal. Absolutely unreal that the Vikings win. But I feel very badly for the Saints. That's one of those games that, you did everything right except win. You did everything right at the end. Maybe you didn't do everything right in the first half, but you did everything right to win this game. It's a hard loss. But if I'm the Saints, I come back. I've got Breeze for another year or two. I got a great running game. Got great young receivers. I feel good about my team. I want to get another defensive lineman because when Alex Okafor went out, I want another defensive lineman. I want another linebacker. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm one game closer. And Case Keenum played pretty darn well. I give Case Keenum credit for throwing the ball down the field. That was a gutsy throw. And I'm glad he made it. I'm very happy that he made it. So here we are next week. Minnesota at Philadelphia and Jacksonville at New England. I would argue that the AFC game is much better, much more competitive. I think there'll be two competitive games. I wish I could see Carson Wentz out there. I do. If Carson Wentz is out there, I think the Eagles win this one. Convincingly. He's that good. But we'll never know. But still, enjoyed a weekend of football. 2.5 of these games are very good. Sunday's games are great. Tennessee, New England was interesting for a little bit. Okay. The Atlanta, Philadelphia was interesting at the end, just wasn't a great game. And next week, I think it should be two very exciting games. All right, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and that means it's NBA. There's an early slate and a late slate, so if you want to win, check out scoutdfs.com. Check out our podcast with Fuego Steven, Jaguar Lou. Look at our optimizer, our scout scores, whatever it takes for you to win, we're going to do for you at Scout Fantasy. And of course, at scoutdfs.com. So join up there right now, get a free trial, see if you like it. Okay, and by the way, this came up on today's show. A guy named Ed from Indiana won a lot of money in DFS. Won it close to $2,000. When you win big, and I hope you do, when you win big on DFS, the first thing I want you to do is take money out. So if you win $2,000, I want you to take $1,500 out. Leave $500 in, but don't leave it all in. You know why you don't leave it all in? Because you will piss it all away. Okay? And I want you to go buy your wife something nice, get your kids something nice, take your $1,500 and put it in your pocket. Leave your $500 in and play more aggressively. That's what I want you to do. So when you make your big hit, and you will, if you join scoutdfs.com, you'll make your big hit. Don't leave it all in there. Bring 80% back, leave 20% in, and enjoy your winnings. All right, but it's time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Wishing you a great day. Enjoy those NBA games. We'll be back tomorrow. This is Dr. Roto saying be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!